Hey guys! So today we are going to be talking about distributing a negative number. So a couple things. We're going to go over these worksheets. Now a lot of you are getting confused. I hand out 3 worksheets. So the first one is a notes. It is a notes. Okay, let me start over. The first 2 are notes. So you will be following along with the first 2 worksheets. Okay? And then the third worksheet is your homework. And it will be titled, as you can see, homework. So this is homework number 3 in the unit. Okay? So, when you're watching this video during class, I want you to be following along with the first 2 worksheets, okay? It's really important that you copy it all down and you follow along. And if you have any questions, feel free, raise your hand, or you can come up to me after the video and ask me anything regarding the lessons, okay? Also, I do have availability during 4th and 5th period. If you need extra help, I'm here. Sometimes I am subbing in different classrooms or have meetings, but just let me know that you're one of those people that needs a little bit of extra help. Maybe I can help you during your lunch. Maybe you can come in. We can arrange something where you come in the morning or even perhaps after school one day, but I am here for you. This is my classroom at home. In case you're wondering why I have all this stuff in the back. Remember, I do teach English to my Chinese students before I come and teach you guys. I also do have a poster, the dawn. This is my office, as you guys can see. Okay, my little corner. And then, I know you guys are probably curious, but I have a couple, as you can see, I have a couple computers, a couple monitors, and just a bunch of other junk. But don't let that totally distract you, okay? So we're gonna move on, and we are going to be working on the first worksheet. Oh, and that is the homework sheet. No, yep, the first worksheet. It says Expressions and Equations, Student Handout 3. All right, so here's your first handout. It says distributing a negative number. A negative sign indicates the opposite of the number. So go ahead right now and fill in the word opposite. You guys all know what opposites are, right? Hot, cold, winter, summer, day, night. Those are all opposites, right? So a negative sign, a negative sign indicates the opposite of the number. So right now, if we look at these terms, it says list the opposite of each of the terms below. So we have 8. What is the opposite of 8? Negative 8. 5. 5. Or negative 5, positive 5. X. Can you guys take a guess? Negative X. And remember, when we just have a variable by itself, it is always considered to have a 1 in front of it. Okay? Our next one would be 3. Negative 3x. And I'm sure you guys can see it and cheat a little bit, but our answer is 3x. As you can see, it is just the what? It is just the opposite. Okay? So take a second and fill that out on your sheet. As I erase erase this. Okay, do you guys remember absolute value? And we just took the opposite. It's simple, it's similar to what we're doing here, okay? So let's go ahead. Distributing a negative. Okay, follow along and make sure you guys fill in the blank, okay? When distributing a negative number, you are multiplying each term within the parentheses by the negative number outside the parentheses. This results in finding the opposite of each term within the parentheses. Now take a moment, please, and fill in the blank, which is the word opposite. Okay, and then remember the top was also opposite. So we have two opposites. Okay. Now, before you guys just go ahead and cheat and look at the answer, I want you guys to really pay attention to this example. Okay, we have -3, parentheses, 2 plus 4x, right? Let's write it down. I'm going to write it down for you. So I have -3, 2 plus 4x, parenthesis. Okay? Now, a lot of you are kind of confused with distributive property. So let's just do kind of a review with this one. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for any kind of similarities within the parentheses. We have a variable, x, and no variable, okay? We cannot add these together. We cannot add these together because x has a 4 and 2 does not have an x. Did I say that right? We cannot add these together because 4 has a variable and 2 does not have a variable, so we cannot add them together. But what we can do is distribute this -3 to 2, and we can distribute this -3 to 4x. So simple math here. -3 times +2 would give me -6. Okay, because -3 times +2 is -6, plus -3 times +4x is what? Well, it would be 3 times 4 is 12, but we are going to keep this negative and make it -12x, parenthesis. Now, we can just do away with these parentheses and keep it like this. The answer, -6 minus 12x. Let me zoom out. Both of these would be correct. This is the most simplified. Okay. Give you a second. Like literally a second. So here is the same thing that we did that you can write on the line if you so choose to. It just broke it down a little differently. I just showed you guys how to do the problem with arrows. That is more easier for me to solve these types of equations, but for you, you might actually need to kind of chunk it out by saying 3 times 2 plus negative 3 times positive 2 plus negative 3 times positive 4 equals negative 6 plus negative 12x equals negative 6 minus 12. Basically it is the same thing that we got right here. Okay, but for those of you who would like to see it this way, I'm just going to have this camera rest for a minute so you can copy it down, pause the video, do what you have to do in order to copy the best example for yourself. Okay? All right. So we have the next step, which is practice distributing negative numbers. Now kids, if you are a person who is still a little shaky or uncomfortable with negatives and positive and integers from last lessons, or last module I should say, I would like you to go back to your notes where, in your notebooks where we've had the little cheat sheet, and I want you guys to really study that and focus on it, because if you don't know how to do these negatives and positives, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time with this unit that we're working on currently. Okay, so we have the first one, which is negative 2g plus 5. So we're going to distribute this 2 to the g. Now remember, we always, when we have a variable, it doesn't matter what letter, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, X, V, T, whatever it is, we always assume that there's an invisible 1, right? So negative 2 times 1, g, is going to be negative 2g. Negative 2g plus negative 2 times positive 5 is going to be negative 10. Now we just kind of simplify it by making this a negative 2g minus 10. And as you can see, that's our first answer. Okay, I'm going to pick up my little cheat sheet or my worksheet so that way I can do the problems on the whiteboard and you guys just follow along. I will number this. So this was number 1. Now we're going to be working on problem number 2. This is problem number 2, kids. Negative 2 parenthesis negative g plus 5. Okay. A negative times a negative is going to be what? You guys remember? A negative times a negative is positive. And remember, there's always an imaginary 1. So negative 2 times negative 1g is going to be positive 2g. Negative 2 times positive 5 is going to give me negative 10. And all I did is I distributed this 2 here, and I'm distributing this 2 here. If it helps, use 2 different colors to be able to see how you distribute, but that is our answer for number 2. Okay, not bad. Again, since this is a YouTube video and you're watching this at your own time and your own pace, feel free to pause the video, raise your hand, ask questions. If you're at home and you're watching this, you can always email me too. I'm available, and trust me, I want you guys to pass this class, and I want you guys to know that math doesn't have to be hard. It can be relaxing. It can be kind of fun if you allow it to be. And I know all of you have what it takes, and I promise you do. So let's distribute this 2 to G again. We're on number 3. Negative 2 times positive 1G is going to give me negative 2G. A negative times a negative is going to give me a positive 10, because 2 negative times 5 negative gives me 10 positive. Good. All right. We're going to now be on problem number 4. See, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, you guys. Negative 2, and you guys are lucky. These are all negative. I mean, they're all 2s so far, which we all know are multiples of 2. So that makes it a little bit easier. They're not giving us something like negative 95 times negative G plus 5, you know. So it makes it a little easier. Again, a negative times a negative is going to give me positive. Positive 2G negative 2 times negative 5 is going to give me positive 10. So again, these are the same problems that you have on your worksheet. Okay, so this was number 4. We're going to move on to problem number 5. Again, if you think it's too fast, you can pause the video. But we're at number 5. Negative 3 parenthesis 4a plus 2 parenthesis. I made this one a little bit more wider than the others. So again, we're just going to distribute. And it doesn't matter how you make your lines. I just now made the negative, just showed the arrows this way, okay, and showed it this way. You could do opposite. However you want to draw your arrows is fine. This just made more sense right now for me. Negative 3 times 4a. Well, 3 times 4 is 12, but we have that negative, so it's actually going to be negative 12a. Negative times a positive 2 is going to give me negative 6, because 3 times 2 is 6, and it's negative. And this is your answer. Okay? Pretty soon we're going to build off this, because look at 6 and 12 have something in common, but you guys don't need to know that yet. Not yet, but just keep looking for patterns. All math is, you guys, is patterns. And once you can figure out the pattern or break the code, it becomes really easy. Negative 3 parenthesis negative 4a plus 2. And if I haven't said so already, we are on problem number 6. And we're just going to distribute this 3. So negative times a negative is positive. 3 times 4a is going to be 12a. Negative 3 times a positive 2 is going to be negative 6. Okay. All right. Can I see these? Do you think they're hard? Leave a comment in the comment section below, letting me know if you think that these problems are hard, or if you have a better understanding on how to do this distributive property. Please keep your feedback, pleasant. I don't like, saying negative things. Ha 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 ha, get it? Negative things. Little math humor. But we have -3 times +4, which is going to give us -12a. Negative times a negative, whoop, is going to give me +6. And that's my answer for number 7. I'm getting a little slap happy. I drank some coffee, you guys. It is like 11 o'clock at night. I taught you guys all day long, you naughty, naughty children. Just kidding. Mrs. Neubauer appreciates each and every one of you. But I'm getting a little slap happy. Have you guys ever heard that expression, slap happiness? It's kind of like where you're kind of tired and then you just kind of get, a little silly. So anyways, we're on problem 8. We have -3 times -4a, which is, again, +12, because the negative times a negative is positive. We're going to keep the a. -3 times a -2 is going to be +6. And that's our answer for the first 8 problems. Okay? So if you look down, there's 2 questions that require you to write sentences. Now, I personally do not believe in fill in the blank. I don't think that really helps you with your education. So I'm going to read the question and then I will show you the answer. I expect for you to follow along and to fill in the blank. So I'm going to first read it and then I will put it in front of the camera so you guys can see it. Okay? Okay. What do you notice about questions 1 through 4 above? So if we take a look at the questions 1 through 4, -2, parentheses, g plus 5. In each set of the negative values changes the sign of the terms inside the parentheses. Okay? What mistakes might be made when distributing the negative? It'd be easy to forget to distribute the second number or forget to multiply the value outside the parentheses with the second term in the parentheses. So, as promised, oops, excuse me, that is not very nice, camera. It was actually my ring light, but here we go. So take a minute, and I want you guys to copy this down. Okay. Okay. So now I want you guys to take out your next piece of paper, which is the second page. Let me erase this okay. A little bit better. And I hope we have some time to go over all these problems. But we're on number 9, which is -5 2x plus 9, parenthesis, and we're going to distribute this -5 I should say. It's not just 5, it's -5. So -5 times +2 is going to give me -10. -5 times +9 is going to give me -45, because 5 times 9 is 45. But a 5 times a positive 9 is going to be negative 45. Let's do problem 10. Okay, I'm going to write problem 10 right here. So I have negative 2.5 times 4k minus 2. So 2.5, there you go. 2.5 negative times 4 is going to be 10. $10k negative would be 10k, and then because they sorry, I just wanted to make sure. Yep, it would be negative 10k because of the negative sign. And then we have a negative 2.5 times 2, which is going to be positive 5. Okay. Now I'm going to erase number 9. And 10 real quick. Number 11 is negative 1/2, or I should say negative half 6t plus 2. And we're going to distribute this half. Negative half times 6t is going to be negative 3. Because what is half of 3? Wait, what is half of 6? 3. But we have to bring down that t. And we have to keep the negative because this is a positive. Positive and negative multiply each other. Always going to be negative. Then we have a positive 2 being multiplied by half, which is going to be negative 1. Because what is half of 2? 1. It's number 11. Tape. I got tape stuck on my pen. I don't even know how that was possible. We're on number 12. Like I said, we only have a couple more. I have negative 10. Negative 4 in the parenthesis, minus 2j. Now all they did is they made the variable and they swapped the variable. Normally the variable is over here, but now it's over here, and it makes no difference whatsoever. Negative 10 times a negative 4 is going to be positive 40 because a negative times a negative is positive. A negative times a negative 2j is going to be positive 20j. Again, I'm going to erase. Oh no, it's starting to get that smog, marker smog. Okay, 13. Negative 3, parenthesis, negative p, plus 7. Distribute positive 3p. All right, so my camera ran out of storage, so I had to quickly delete some things, but we have positive 3p and a negative 21, okay? Because a negative times a positive is going to be negative 21, because 3 times 7 is 21, and then you make it negative because a negative times a positive gives us negative. You guys are going to be saying this in your sleep because I know I will be. 14, our last problem at the top here. Negative 2, 6d minus 11. Negative 2d d is going to be negative 12d, because 6 times negative 2 is negative 12, plus 22. I don't know about you, I'm feeling 22, because negative 11 times positive 2 is a negative 11 times a negative 2 gives me a positive 22. Okay, we did it, yay. Okay, that's number 14. So then we have 15, which looks like a box. 3x minus 2, and x plus 6. Okay, so what we're going to do is combine like terms. You know what? I'm going to show you guys how to do the last 4 problems actually on the board tomorrow. So let's not worry about it being on camera, but I will give you the answers real quick, just because we're running out of time and I want you guys, I want to explain these a little bit further in depth. Okay? And I just think it'd be easier for me to show you guys problems 15 and 18 in class. So I'll give us the last 5 minutes or so during class to show you guys what this is all about. But take a second, pause it if you have to, and copy this down, okay? And that is it for this lesson. Next, you are going to take out your homework sheet that looks kind of like this, like a giant puzzle. And you are going to do it for, come on, focus camera, focus. You're going to do this for your homework. And any questions, feel free to come by my desk or raise your hand, and I'll be walking around helping you guys. But I will go over these for tomorrow. Okay, I will see you guys in the future. And again, thanks for being one of the best parts of my day.